Eva gently taps her cheek with her fingers, secretly sending a message in Morse code to a prisoner sitting across the courtroom. The man on trial is on death row, and every blink from his eyes is part of the response. Back and forth, they communicate silently while everyone else remains unaware. The amount of information is so large that Eva quickly grabs a pen and begins writing everything down, making sure not to miss a single detail. Soon the trial comes to an end. The verdict is delivered, and the man is sentenced to death. His execution is scheduled for 3 days later. Yet strangely, he shows no fear, no panic, and no sign of desperation. That is because during those brief moments in the courtroom, he and Eva have already finalized a bold escape plan. The man's name is Diabolic, a legendary criminal whose reputation has terrified the city for years. Later that night, Eva follows the instructions Diabolic gave her. After finding the exact brick he described, she gently pushes it. Slowly the wall rises. Behind it sits a luxury car, waiting in silence. Eva starts the engine and drives off immediately, heading toward the next hideout. After some time on the road, she notices a sign marking 37 kilometers and pulls over. Suddenly, the side of the mountain begins to move. What looked like solid rock slowly opens, forming a massive hidden door. The place hidden within the mountain looks like a secret paradise. Eva approaches a secure cabinet and enters the code. The safe pops open, revealing stacks of cash and rows of colorful bottles filled with mysterious chemicals. She quickly grabs the yellow and green potions that Diabolic specifically requested. These drugs are part of the plan to help him escape prison, but there is still one more piece of the puzzle. Eva needs the help of a powerful man named Giorgio. Giorgio is a wealthy senator who has always had a weakness for beautiful women. For a long time, he has admired Eva from afar. So when Eva suddenly approaches him and begins flirting, he immediately takes the bait. Completely captivated, Giorgio promises that he will do anything for her as long as she agrees to marry him. Eva knows exactly how to play the situation. Pretending to be curious, she casually picks up a newspaper nearby and notices the headline about Diabolic's upcoming execution. She expresses fascination with the infamous criminal and says she would love the chance to see such a legendary figure before he dies. At first, Giorgio refuses. After all, Diabolic is one of the most dangerous criminals alive. Allowing anyone near him would be risky. Seeing his hesitation, Eva decides to push a little harder. She moves closer, teasing him gently and making it clear she knows exactly how much influence she has over him. Giorgio quickly gives in. However, he sets one condition. If she wants to see Diabolic, he must accompany her personally. Eva smiles quietly. That condition is exactly what she wanted. That same night, the two of them arrive at the prison. Using his political authority, Giorgio convinces the warden to allow a private interrogation with the notorious prisoner. Soon the three of them enter the interrogation room together. Half an hour later, Giorgio walks out looking frustrated and cold. He claims that Diabolic is completely uncooperative, like a lifeless block of wood. According to him, the criminal refused to say a single word. The warden simply sighs. Since the day Diabolic arrived in prison, he has always been exactly the same: silent, expressionless, and impossible to read. The next day, the moment everyone has been waiting for finally arrives. The guards bring Diabolic out and prepare him for execution. His collar is removed and he is escorted step by step toward the guillotine. What shocks everyone the most is his behavior. Even now, with death just seconds away, Diabolic shows no emotion at all. His face remains completely calm, almost unnaturally calm. Watching from nearby, the police chief suddenly feels that something is wrong. A memory flashes through his mind. During the investigation of Diabolic's home, the police had discovered a collection of incredibly realistic human skin masks. The thought makes him uneasy. Realizing what that might mean, the chief immediately rushes forward, trying to stop the execution. But he is too late. The blade has already fallen, and the head of the man believed to be Diabolic is severed. But to truly understand what just happened, we need to go back to the beginning of the story. Sometime earlier, a quiet shopping mall suddenly becomes the center of chaos. A black car bursts into view, racing through the area, while several police vehicles chase closely behind. Inside that black car is a man suspected to be a notorious armed robber, someone known for his dangerous tactics and clever strategies. Despite the intense pursuit, the driver manages to escape the police convoy and turns into a deserted road. However, an inspector and two officers continue chasing him. Just as they think they are getting closer, something unbelievable happens. The car suddenly splits in half, and the front portion disappears completely, leaving the officers stunned. At that moment, the inspector reveals the identity of the man they are chasing. The criminal responsible for this incredible escape is none other than Diabolic, the most elusive thief they have ever encountered. Several months later, the city's political elites gather for an important event. Among the guests who arrive that evening is a beautiful woman named Eva. Her presence immediately attracts attention, and many people treat her with great respect. During the gathering, the conversation eventually turns to the mysterious criminal who has been terrorizing the city. Diabolic's name alone is enough to create fear among the public, as his crimes and daring escapes have made him almost legendary. After the event ends, Eva leaves the building and begins walking home alone. But along the way, she is suddenly approached by a man who introduces himself as Inspector Ginkgo. Ginkgo asks for a moment of her time. During their brief conversation, it becomes clear that Eva has only recently arrived in the city of Clareville from South Africa. She also happens to possess an incredibly valuable red diamond, a jewel worth a fortune. Ginkgo explains that a treasure like that will almost certainly attract Diabolic's attention. In his opinion, the thief is probably already planning to steal it. Eva finds this hard to believe. She has only been in the city for 2 days, but Ginkgo warns her that Diabolic is far more intelligent and connected than most criminals. He has spies everywhere, and no one has ever seen his true face. According to the inspector, Diabolic could be anyone. To prevent the theft, Ginkgo promises to place several undercover agents around Eva to protect her. In reality, Eva is also being used as bait in the hope that Diabolic will reveal himself. Meanwhile, inside the hotel where Eva is staying, several employees are discussing the new assignment of providing her with a personal attendant. One of the hotel workers has already been chosen for the role. What none of them realize is that their conversation is being secretly recorded by a listening device connected directly to Diabolic. Later that evening, the unfortunate hotel worker leaves the building and walks home alone. Suddenly, from behind, Diabolic appears without warning. With a single swift motion, he throws a knife that strikes the man from behind, killing him instantly. This is the moment we finally see Diabolic himself. After the murder, he calmly studies the victim's voice and manner of speaking. He carefully memorizes every detail, practicing until he can perfectly imitate the man's tone and behavior.
Scelto me come cameriere personale di Lady Kant. Il motivo è semplice.
Se il direttore ha scelto me come cameriere personale di Lady Kant,
Il motivo è semplice.
The following morning, the hotel manager begins searching frantically for the missing employee named Roberto, unaware that the man has already been replaced. Using one of his realistic masks, Diabolic transforms his appearance into Roberto and takes the position as Eva's personal attendant. When Eva enters her hotel room, the disguised Diabolic quietly follows her inside and begins preparing a bath for her, just as a loyal servant would. During this time, he overhears an important piece of information. Eva receives a call from a man named Giorgio, a wealthy and influential figure in the city who plans to meet with her later that evening. Elsewhere in the city, a wealthy woman named Elizabeth finally returns home. Her face shows clear sadness, the kind that comes from constantly being left alone by her husband. But this time, something seems different. When she enters the house, she notices that her husband has actually returned. For a brief moment, it feels like things might be normal again. But the truth is far more complicated. The man she calls her husband is none other than Diabolic, whose real name is Walter. And just like always, he does not stay long. Almost as soon as he arrives, he disappears again, leaving Elizabeth alone once more. Meanwhile, Eva is meeting with Giorgio. The wealthy politician seems extremely excited to see her, while Eva herself is already starting to grow tired of his overly enthusiastic behavior. But during this meeting, something else is happening behind the scenes. At the same time, Diabolic has quietly broken into Eva's room and is attempting to crack open her safe. However, his plan is interrupted when Eva unexpectedly returns earlier than he anticipated. As soon as she steps into the room, she immediately notices that her bag has been tampered with. Before she can react, Diabolic moves from behind and restrains her. Yet the reaction he expects never comes. Eva shows no fear at all. Instead, she calmly reveals that the red diamond everyone has been talking about is actually fake. According to her, the real diamond has already been sold. The confession catches Diabolic completely off guard. First, because the woman standing in front of him shows absolutely no fear. And second, because she appears to be telling the truth. What surprises him even more is Eva's attitude. Rather than resisting him, she seems fascinated. At one point, she even moves closer, as if she intends to kiss him. But before anything can happen, Diabolic vanishes just as suddenly as he appeared.
Non hai bisogno di un diamante per questo.
Even so, he still takes the red diamond with him. As he travels away, Eva leaves him with a mystery that lingers in his mind. Who exactly is this woman? When Diabolic finally returns to one of his secret bases and examines the gem more carefully, he confirms that Eva was right. The diamond is indeed fake. At the same time, Elizabeth struggles to fall asleep at home. Her husband has once again failed to return. Late at night, she wakes up and glances toward the window. That is when she notices something strange. A man appears to be emerging from beneath the ground in her backyard. Curious and slightly frightened, Elizabeth decides to investigate. She carefully makes her way downstairs to see what is happening below the house. Soon she hears footsteps approaching from underground. Moments later, the man walks back upstairs. It turns out to be Walter. From this moment, it becomes clear that Diabolic, or Walter, has built a secret underground base directly beneath the yard of his own home. The following morning, Eva wakes up in her hotel room when Roberto enters carrying breakfast. When she opens the tray, she discovers something unexpected inside. Along with the food is a ring made from the red diamond. In that instant, Eva understands everything. Roberto is not a hotel servant at all. He is Diabolic. Without hesitation, Eva signals to him. There is no need for long explanations. Roberto calmly removes the mask from his face, revealing Diabolic's true identity. At this point, Eva is completely captivated by him. Her fascination with the mysterious criminal quickly grows into something deeper. Meanwhile, Elizabeth continues thinking about what she saw the previous night. Her curiosity refuses to fade. Determined to uncover the truth, she searches for the hidden entrance she glimpsed earlier. Eventually, she finds it. With a mixture of fear and curiosity, Elizabeth carefully descends into the underground space. What she discovers there shocks her completely. Inside the secret chamber are all of Diabolic's hidden tools, including the lifelike mask he uses to change identities. Realizing the scale of his crimes, Elizabeth immediately contacts the authorities. Back at the hotel, the relationship between Diabolic and Eva rapidly becomes more intense. Eva tries to learn more about the man behind the mask, but Diabolic remains cautious. He does not reveal everything about himself. When he asks about her life instead, Eva explains that Giorgio is actually her fiancé. However, she does not love him at all. In fact, she despises him. According to Eva, Giorgio possesses a powerful piece of leverage over her, something that forces her to stay engaged to him. Because of that, she asks Diabolic for help. What she wants is simple but ruthless. She wants the documents that give Giorgio control over her to disappear. And if necessary, she even suggests eliminating Giorgio himself. Diabolic listens carefully. In the end, he agrees to her request, completely drawn in by Eva's beauty. Meanwhile, the police who received Elizabeth's call quickly head to her house, led by Inspector Ginkgo. At the same time, Giorgio begins to worry that Eva might disappear. Nervous about losing his fiancée, he immediately calls the hotel manager to check on her. The manager quickly realizes that Roberto, the hotel attendant assigned to Eva, has already been missing for more than an hour. Concerned, he rushes to Eva's room and knocks on the door. Inside the room, Roberto, who is actually Diabolic, is still there. Eva reacts instantly and hides him inside her wardrobe just before the manager enters. Once inside, the manager asks for permission to search the room. Eva calmly agrees, which only confuses him even more. While the manager checks the bathroom, Diabolic quietly slips out of the wardrobe and escapes the room without being noticed. At the same time, Inspector Ginkgo and his team arrive at the hidden underground base beneath Elizabeth's house. As they search the area, they discover several lifelike masks, the very disguises Diabolic uses to change identities. The discovery confirms Ginkgo's suspicions. Realizing how dangerous his enemy truly is, he immediately orders all officers to prepare a full operation to capture Diabolic. Meanwhile, Diabolic moves to another secret hideout located nearby. Inside, he retrieves a box containing detailed information about Giorgio. From the documents, it becomes clear that Giorgio is not just a wealthy man, but also the deputy minister in the Ministry of Justice. Diabolic studies the information carefully before beginning the process of creating a mask that perfectly replicates Giorgio's face. Once the mask is complete, Diabolic heads straight back toward the location where Ginkgo and the police are waiting. Slowly and cautiously, he enters his underground base again. But the moment he turns on the lights, he realizes he has walked into a trap. Inspector Ginkgo is already there, waiting for him. Diabolic tries to outmaneuver the officers and briefly manages to break free and run toward the exit. But this time, the police manage to catch him. Outside the house, Elizabeth watches everything unfold from the garden. All she can do is stand there as the man she once loved is finally taken away in handcuffs. The following day, Eva waits patiently at a meeting spot where she and Diabolic had planned to continue their scheme. She waits and waits, but Diabolic never arrives. Eventually, she sees the news in the newspaper. Diabolic has been captured. And with that, the story returns to the day of the execution. When the body of the man who was just beheaded is examined more closely, the dead man is not Diabolic at all. It is actually Giorgio, wearing one of Diabolic's masks. The real Diabolic has already escaped, disguised as Giorgio. Behind the scenes, everything had been carefully planned between Diabolic and Eva. Using a special drug that Eva secretly injected into Giorgio, they forced him to obey every command Diabolic gave. Under the influence of the drug, Giorgio answered every question truthfully. Diabolic learned that Giorgio had hidden a large fortune inside a secure bank vault in another city. The key to that vault was kept inside the safe in Giorgio's own office. After extracting all the information he needed, Diabolic switched disguises once again, placing Giorgio's face over his own and setting the final stage of his escape plan. After realizing that the man executed was not the real Diabolic, Inspector Ginkgo immediately begins planning his next move. He knows his enemy is still out there somewhere, and now the chase begins all over again. Meanwhile, inside Giorgio's office, Diabolic has already begun searching through the safe. From inside, he retrieves a file containing damaging information about Eva, something that had been used to control her. He also takes the key to Giorgio's vault, a place rumored to hold a fortune in jewels and diamonds. While this is happening, Ginkgo quietly makes a phone call to Giorgio's secretary, a woman who has no idea what is going on. Ginkgo calmly instructs her to leave the office slowly and quietly without drawing any attention. However, after ending the call, the secretary does the exact opposite. Instead of leaving, she opens the door to Giorgio's office and walks inside. By the time she arrives, Diabolic has already finished what he came for and slipped away. Downstairs, Eva is waiting for him, ready to leave together. At that moment, Diabolic realizes something important. Ginkgo has already figured out that he is still alive. Even so, Diabolic has no intention of backing down. His plan to steal Giorgio's fortune will continue. Not long after, the secretary is seen leaving the office looking nervous. Soon after that, Inspector Ginkgo arrives at the scene. He questions her about the contents of Giorgio's safe, asking if anything important might be missing. The secretary pretends to know nothing and claims she has no idea what was stored inside. Surprisingly, Ginkgo decides to let her go, but he does not stop investigating. Ginkgo and his team continue searching for anything that might give them a clue. Eventually, one of his officers discovers a hidden file behind a cabinet in the restroom connected to Giorgio's office. Inside the file are photographs and secret documents exposing the corrupt activities of several powerful figures. Realizing the importance of what they have found, Ginkgo begins forming a new strategy to track down Diabolic. Elsewhere, a wealthy woman arrives at a bank carrying an expensive painting. She tells the staff that she wishes to store the artwork safely inside the bank's vault. The bank manager personally shows her how the security system works. The vault is designed with multiple layers of protection. It consists of 3 thick security barriers, including a hollow metal layer that triggers the alarm if anything touches it. Because of this design, breaking through the vault should be impossible. Inside the vault lockers, 2 separate keys are required to open them. One key belongs to the bank, while the other belongs to the owner of the deposit box. Both must be used at the same time. On top of that, the main vault door itself can only be opened by the bank manager. Back at the police station, Ginkgo shares some of the corrupt documents he found with another government official. After handing over the files, he and one of his colleagues come to an important conclusion. Since the key to Giorgio's vault is now missing, it is almost certain that Diabolic plans to rob the bank where the treasure is stored. However, the vault is located in another city, which means Diabolic may already be preparing his next move there. Back at the bank, the wealthy woman who arrived earlier is finally revealed to be Eva in disguise. Her visit was never about storing a painting. Instead, she carefully gathers every detail about the vault's security, from the structure of the safe to the exact hour the bank closes. Later that evening, once the bank shuts its doors at 5 o'clock, the box that Eva placed inside the vault suddenly activates. From within it, a powerful laser begins cutting through the metal door of the deposit locker. That is when Diabolic steps in to begin the real operation. Using specialized tools he prepared in advance, he begins breaking through the multiple layers of the vault's defenses. Every move is precise and calculated. Earlier, Diabolic had already explained the entire plan to Eva. His entry point would not be through the main vault door at all. Instead, he would travel through an underground water tunnel that connects directly to the vault wall. He knows he has enough time to carry out the operation, but the most difficult part is avoiding the sensitive hollow metal layer that triggers the alarm if it is touched. To bypass it, he carefully uses a special device to open the next barrier without making contact. Once he successfully reaches the interior, the final step is to open the underground water channel. When the valve is released, water begins flooding the vault area, cutting off the electricity supply that powers the security cameras. Meanwhile, in another part of the city, Georgia's secretary quietly returns to his office. She sneaks toward the restroom to retrieve the hidden document stored there. However, the police are already watching her movements closely. Inspector Ginkgo quickly brings her in for questioning and asks what else might be missing from Giorgio's private safe. Unable to hide the truth any longer, the secretary finally admits that the key to the bank vault has disappeared. That single piece of information confirms Ginkgo's suspicions. Diabolic is planning another robbery. Ginkgo immediately begins preparing a strategy to capture him, but he keeps the plan extremely secret. He does not want anyone else to know what is about to happen. At the same time, Diabolic has already begun carrying out the heist. Eva, however, is not involved in the break-in itself. He instructs her to stay home and simply wait while he handles the job alone. Back at the bank, the situation suddenly becomes chaotic. The broken water channel is discovered by the security guards, and the alarm begins blaring throughout the building. The guards immediately call the bank manager and contact the fire department for assistance. The manager rushes toward the bank as quickly as possible, but Diabolic has already arranged things in a way that delays her arrival. Soon, a tense argument breaks out between the bank's security staff and the firefighters. No one knows what to do. The vault door cannot be opened without the manager, yet the flooding water inside makes the situation even more dangerous. While everyone outside struggles to understand what is happening, Diabolic continues his operation calmly inside the vault, completely unnoticed. After some time, Inspector Ginkgo and his team finally arrive in the city. Once he is briefed on the situation, Ginkgo immediately orders the local police to block every road around the bank. Not long after that, the bank manager finally reaches the building as well. Meanwhile, Eva waits anxiously at home, worried about whether Diabolic will succeed. Outside the bank, the authorities face a serious problem. If the vault door is opened, the rushing water could injure anyone standing nearby or even flood the entire building. Ginkgo studies the situation carefully, thinking through every possibility. In the end, he decides the safest strategy is simply to wait. He believes that sooner or later, Diabolic will have to come out. With that in mind, Ginkgo orders a tight perimeter around the area. He also considers the possibility that Diabolic might try to escape through the underground water tunnels, so security around those routes is reinforced as well. Meanwhile, Eva grows increasingly frustrated as she waits at home. Sitting around and doing nothing is not her style. Eventually, she decides she cannot just wait any longer, so she leaves to help secure Diabolic's escape route herself. At the same time, Diabolic has already succeeded in his mission. Inside the vault, he manages to collect the jewels and fortune that once belonged to Giorgio. With everything he came for now in his possession, he prepares to leave as quickly as possible. Luckily for him, Eva has already cleared the path ahead. Thanks to her preparations, Diabolic only needs to focus on making his final escape. But just as he is about to disappear, Inspector Ginkgo suddenly appears. Without hesitation, Ginkgo fires his weapon and hits Diabolic in the shoulder. Despite the injury, Diabolic refuses to surrender. The two rivals confront each other once again, locked in a tense moment. However, Ginkgo cannot simply kill him on the spot. Sensing an opportunity, Diabolic slowly backs away. At that exact moment, Eva appears from behind and strikes Ginkgo's leg, knocking him off balance. The distraction is all Diabolic needs. Taking advantage of the moment, he escapes once again, slipping away from Ginkgo's grasp. In the final moments of the story, Diabolic and Eva are seen together aboard a large ship, leaving everything behind. Diabolic takes out the original red diamond ring that once belonged to Eva and gives it back to her. But instead of keeping it, Eva calmly throws the diamond into the sea. At this point, wealth no longer matters to her. The only thing she truly wants now is Diabolic. So the moral of the story is if your partner can escape prison, rob a bank, and outsmart the police, just keep the partner and forget the diamond.